Good evening, everybody. So I'm going to show you one example. One example is in the end of the bridge, the last two measures of the bridge going to the tonic. He goes like this. That chromatic movement. So that's part of a descending dominant seventh scale. So Mr. Harris would say for a dominant seven, in this case it's G7, the first you can put 1/2 step in a descending dominant seven scale between the 1 and the flat 7. And I know other people now call that a bebop scale, but Mr. Harris would get very upset. But it's putting a 1/2 step between the root and the dominant 7. And then he used to say, if you start on the 3rd or the 5th or the 7th, you could put 3/2 steps. One between the 3rd and the 2nd, one between the 2nd and the 1, and then of course one between the root and the dominant 7. So on this Dexter Gordon line, it goes. So he used part of the descending dominant 7 scale. Of course, the last two notes he did an enclosure too. So that's one example of Barry Harris's rules and how I am interpreting Dexter Gordon's solo from Barry Harris' point of view. I'm going to give you a couple of others. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Here's another example. In the 4th chorus, Dexter Gordon goes. That's your descending dominant scale with the 1/2 step between the root and the dominant 7. So that's another example, piggybacking on my previous example. Hi, everybody. Here's a third example of a descending dominant 7 scale a la Barry Harris. So there's a double time line at the end of the bridge of the 4th chorus. He goes. So here it is. And I'm starting a 7. There it is. So that's on a D7 on tenor saxophone key. That's a D7. So I'm going D, C sharp, C. That's the third example. Here's a 4th example of the 1/2 step rules that I learned from Mr. Harris. And I haven't even showing you any examples of the harmony. I'm going to delve into some of that now. But this is a 4th example. This comes in the end of the end of the last A section of the 4th chorus. So he goes, there it is. The 1/2 step it's on the G7, the 1/2 step between the root and the dominant 7. It's 5, 3, 2, 1 on a D minus 7 to the G7. So that's the 4th example. Good evening, everyone. So now I'm going to do one example of the harmony that Mr. Harris taught me, his point of view. So this is in the 4th chorus. I'm going to go really slow. See? That is the minor of the tritone. So I'm on the 5th measure of the first 8. and that fifth measure C7 in tenor saxophone key, and then it's going to F7, B flat 7, back to the 2, I think the 2-5 or the 1. So what happens is, instead of playing C7, I'm playing elements of C sharp minor. So, and then why is it, and it's called the minor of the tritone. Why is it called the minor of the tritone? The tritone of C7 is F sharp 7. So Mr. Harris would tell us, you can play F sharp 7, it's fine. It's, that's perfectly fine. But you can also play C sharp minor 6th. Or any variation. It could be C sharp minor 6. It could be C sharp minor. It could be C sharp minor 7. But it's coming from F sharp 7. And what Mr. Harris calls that, he calls it the 6th of the 5th, or 6th on the 5th. What does that mean is you take your F sharp 7, go a 5th up, and you play a minor 6 chord, a 5th degree from the root. So it's C sharp, F sharp, you have C sharp minor 6. Any variation. So Dexter Gordon is playing C sharp minor. He's going, and then he does an enclosure. And then another Barry Harris harmony, that B flat 7 going back to the C, that's really an F minor, could be F minor. It's an F minor 6th. The 6th on the 5th is F minor 6th, the 4 minor chord, which most of the time resolves back to the 1. And Dexter Gordon does that all throughout the solo. It's all over the place, the 4 minor going back to the 1. So it is a B flat dominant 7, but it's also a 4 minor. And when we study with Mr. Harris, sometimes we wouldn't even talk about the flat 7 dominant. I guess in universities they call it the backdoor dominant. I don't know it like that. I know it as part of the family. There's a family of 4 dominant 7s that come off a diminished 7. So G7 would be one of them. B flat 7 is the other one. D flat 7 is another one, and E. So you can play any of those 4 dominants and resolve to C major. I don't want to confuse you. I'm talking about F major. So in this case, it would be C7, E flat 7, F sharp 7, or A7 resolves to F major or F7. So he's playing C sharp major, and then he's playing the 4 minor. That's the minor 4. So it's really cool. You go. The other thing that's interesting, the last note of that is an E flat. That E flat is the 7th of F. So when the line goes over the bar, you're on the actual dominant 7 of the F7, and then you play the minor, which is B flat 7. You play the F minor, 4 minor, and go right to C. So those are 2 examples of Barry Harris's harmony with the tritone. And I talked about the minor of the tritone. I talked about the 4 family members, the 4 dominant family members that come off the same diminished 7th, and they all will resolve to the tonic. So if it's F, you go C, 7 goes to F, E flat, 7 goes to F, F sharp goes to F, and A goes to F, and that's it. All right, thank you.